Okay, so this is the maiden voyage. It will be for the RTS 400. It's not a very glamorous story about how I got it. I had a credit at a store, and it was enough that I thought, I'm just going to invest in this guy. It is equipped. This is me. I put this extra Velcro on here. This is something they came up with to use with the screen abrasives because the screen abrasives heat up more easily and melt the hooks that are on this pad, and that's like, I don't know, 30 or 40 bucks to replace. So these are cheap. They're like $5 a piece because you get, I don't know, two to a pack. So I don't know, maybe they're 15 or 20. I can't remember, but it's a good investment. One reason I did it is I actually had a lot of this sandpaper for this size sander. I actually have the LS130. This one is random orbit, so it does this. The LS130 does this. So it goes with the grain and doesn't leave any pigtails or swirl marks. Um, but I just like the shape. I actually also have the Delta with the point. But I felt like I really want to be able to see where this part of the sander is starting and stopping. And so anyways, I got it. Like I said, I have the abrasives. I also have a sanding block that uses this 80 by 133 paper. And so I already had the investment in the different grits. So if you're not familiar with Festool, you just have to be looking at this on your phone or on your TV. The way it works is you plug this in. This is a lighter gauge cord, I'm betting, because they don't want extra weight on their corded tools. And so it has this little tooth here, and what that does, it prevents this from plugging into a larger tool, which needs more juice, more electricity for the motor, and that would burn out the cord. So some guys will cut this so it fits, but that's a bad idea. So anyways, the cord will plug in from here. It looked like that pin, the lower pin, was a little crooked, but let's see what happens here. There we go. So it plugs in. You give the green the twist, and then you're connected. I'm using an old school hose that just slips over. They have a special locking style that won't pull loose. I don't have that hose yet. So anyways, what I'm going to use it for is to sand down these hand cut dovetail drawers. And I'm just curious to see if it can actually, how long it'll take with maybe a 120 grit or 80, how long it will take to actually flush these up, sand them down so that these are even with the surface, um, and also just generally clean up the drawer. So that's what I got going on. So that's day one for this guy. Let's wish him luck. Just briefly, this is an overview of what they call a cystainer. Every Festool tool pretty much comes in a box. It'll be different sizes depending on the size of the tool. So the newer ones have a handle here, and then it snaps. I don't always love that. It'll be a picture and description. And then that right there, just swinging that, these have a kind of a hook on the bottom. You can see little feet. They're angled, and so they hook into the box underneath. And so this green dial, the box on top of this would hook into these spaces here, and you can still see it. And then you swing that, and then it holds the top closed, and it also connects so you can stack your tools. So that's just a quick look at the box. That also kind of clicks in, which sometimes it's really stiff, but it's a great system because it does keep all the tools and all the accessories in one place. Okay, this is so old school, it's going to hurt some people to look at this video. I have the old school hose that shoves on with the corrugations, the ribs, and I call it the NASA. It looks like a spaceship or like an astronaut suit. It's just got a cloth that allows it to slip over stuff before they got the good idea of just doing a woven hose so that it slips over the edges of tables and stuff. And then, it's got a sleeve over here on the side for the cord. So anyways, This was a clearance item, and so it was a chance to get a an extra hose with built-in cord, and came with a sustainer, so I got the box as well. So that was pretty awesome, and it was like Festool never goes on sale, so it was a screaming deal. Let me just say that. So anyways, this is simple enough. You just take your abrasive. There are holes in the pad here that pick up air. Usually these in the middle will actually blow air, and then it gets picked up around the edges, and that's what makes Festool so Festool dust collection so effective. Other things of note: there's the serial number, I believe. Where'd it go? So the technical information's over here, I believe. Yeah, serial number down there. It's the REQ, and then the variable speed is the biggest thing, and then that's the on-off switch. I haven't plugged in the vacuum, but when you turn this on with the Festool system, you can plug it right into the vacuum cleaner, and as soon as you flip the switch, it will turn on the vacuum and start to pull dust. Okay, so I have this vacuum is powered up, and this is plugged in, so you can hear it back there huffing and puffing. So I'm just going to give these guys a sand and see what happens. I've got 80 grit on here. I'm going to see if it's too much, but I'm going to try and take down these little dovetail nubs. Okay, so these are my hand-cut dovetails. This is my RST Festool sander with 80 grit. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I filled in any gaps with a little bit of glue and sawdust. So these are looking pretty good here. So it's pretty close. Let's see. Okay, as you can see, pretty much flush across the board, not too much extra scratching and weirdness. So yeah, it's doing a nice job so far. Let's clean up something else real quick while I'm talking here. Okay, so yeah, that's 80 grit on the RTS. It took down the dovetails pretty quickly. Just a little bit of touch up, but you know, these will take a little bit more work because they're bigger, but I'm confident it'll happen. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more Festool stuff. Okay, and another thing I have to say that with a you know, an 80 grit, kind of a rough grit, but if you're trying to just break the edges here so there's no splinters, this does it really quickly. And so just you know, I'm going to come back with a finer grit, but that's a done deal right there in a hurry.